few months back I started making preparations for a road trip using the truck camper, and one of the first concerns I had was the fact that this particular camper doesn't have onboard gray water storage. You have to use the little portable roll around blue tank and roll it up under the truck and hook your water hose up. And that to me seemed like it wasn't going to work very good, because if I needed to pull into a Cabela's parking lot and just stay the night while I was traveling, I didn't want to be burdened, number one, with having to haul that blue tank all around the country, and number two, with having to get it out, roll it up under the truck, hook it up, just to be able to use my sink overnight. Now I've got an onboard black water tank, but I don't have that onboard gray water. And so I was looking for an alternative way, and I reached out to Truck Camper Magazine to see if they had any sources for tanks or anything, and Angela at Truck Camper Magazine emailed me just gobs and gobs of pictures of modifications that other truck camper users had done to combat this same problem. And it gave me a lot of good ideas, and I started searching for the tank that would fit my needs. And let me move the truck and the camera and get it set back up, and I'll show you what I've come up with so far. Hold on just a minute. Alright, I'm in the bed of the truck now, and what I kept looking at when going over this in my mind is there's an awful lot of wasted space between the edge of the camper and the side of the truck bed. That void there on each side of the wheel well, in front and behind. So what I did is started searching for tanks that would fit in that void, and I came up with one. Now it's a little smaller than I would like, but if this ends up and works like I want it to, I can add another one in front of the wheel well as well. So this is behind the wheel well because my sink drains on this side. So it should drain right into this. This holds, I think, 9 gallons. But it's the perfect dimensions to fit in that hole. So all I have to do now is plumb it the way I need it specifically for my application, and hopefully have an onboard gray water tank. So that's what we'll do now. Alright, so here's an up close of the tank. Let me get it over here for you. It says, can you read that? Rocket ABS tanks by Valterra. It's not wanting to focus real good, but this one is part number R8018, which is 9 gallons, 8 inches by 16 inches by 18 inches. Alright, since this tank is made out of ABS, what I've got here is a hose adapter, and it's ABS as well. And what I'm going to do is drill a hole this size in the top of this tank, probably in this corner, and use this stuff, Weldon 773 ABS, and supposedly it's supposed to weld ABS, two ABS pieces to each other. I hope it works, but that will go there, and then this hose will run from here up to the truck camper to my sink drain and allow me to fill it. And then what I will need as well, since you can't put water into a sealed container, I've got to have a vent, and so I will use this. This is another ABS weld-in bung here that I will probably put on the other end of the tank and put the vent in there, and so that way as water goes in, air is vented out here, and then my drain will be down here at the bottom on this hole that's already open, and I will I've just stuck that in there temporarily, kind of fabbing up there in the back of the truck, but this will come out about 6 inches and turn down, and will drain right in between my bed and the bumper. There's a little gap, and it'll work perfect, and should work real good. We'll see. Let me let me do some cutting and drilling here and see how this stuff works. Alright, here is the instructions for the solvent welding, and you can pause it and read those. Alright, so through the magic of editing, it has been, I don't know, about 18, 19 hours. It's the next day, and as you can see, I can pick up this tank by this bung that I have welded in with the solvent. So, seems to have worked just fine. What we'll do is I'll figure out where the big fill fitting needs to go, and we'll go ahead and get that hole drilled and get that done. There we go. Alright, I'm in the back of the truck here now with the tank in place where it's going to be, and as you can see, I've got this filler spout on there now. Hose will hook here, and it comes right over here, well, right outside the camera shot, but where my sink drain's at. So it'll just have, it'll be about a looks like about a 2-foot section of hose will work, and that'll be all I need. And so I'll have 9 gallons of gray water storage right here in this void in my truck bed. So let me shorten this, and then we'll move the camera around to show you where I'm going to run the drain back here. Okay, what we're looking at now is the view from the rear of the truck. So this is my brake light, this is my bumper, this is the side of the camper, and this is the, in other words, the tailgate would be right here if it were on the truck. So this is the back of that gray water tank, and this is where it will drain. So what I'm going to do is come right through here and then turn down, and I will have a valve right here that I can turn. And down underneath my bumper is where I'll have a barb for a hose as well. So I can cut the valve on and have the hose running over to the sewer drain or whatever, and drain my water right there. So that should work. I'll get this plumbed up, and we'll cut in another shot for you. Okay, so if you look right here, here's our tank. We've got our line drain plumbed in, it's glued up, and you can shut it off. Water will build up, you open it up, and it'll drain. I didn't like the thought of something rigid being up here, so what I did is just put a barb in there with a clear hose, and that'll allow me to see if water's getting up in there too. And then if you look down there, there's a good look at the hose barb. And so what I'll do now is back under the camper and make sure one last time that everything works, and then I'll be ready to try it out for good, see if it actually makes a good gray water tank. Alright, so now with the camper backed in here, you look, all you can see is the valve. You can't even, because there's not any light back there, but you can't even see the tank back in there. And now let me walk around to the side. So if you look, let's see, let me move here. Right here's that hose I put for the vent. And let's see, right here is where my sink drains, so I just need a little short hose to run right over there. And what I'll do is hook it up on that end first and let it lay over the edge of the truck, and then when I get it backed under, just screw up here. Well guys, I hope you found this little gray water tank building project informative and useful in case you've got a truck camper and want to try to build a tank to go in one of these voids. You know, manufacturers do a real good job of cramming a lot of stuff into these small spaces. However, there's still a lot of usable space in the truck bed in these voids. So I may look at some other useful projects, maybe somewhere to store some propane tanks or batteries, or you know, who knows. We'll get creative. But the nice thing is, on this particular trip that I'm going to take, I don't have to carry this with me. So if I can leave this at home, it frees up other room and lightens the load just a little bit. So appreciate you watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.
They wonder why